Hey folks, this is Matt once again, and welcome back to another review, this time of the 1997 film Con Air, starring Nicolas Cage, John Cusack, and John Malkovich, directed by Simon West. And I can easily say this is one of my favorite action films in the 90s. I think it's a very entertaining film, it's a very fun film, and I thought the Blu-ray, by the way, looked pretty damn good. Little features from back in the day, A View from Above, which is like 3 minute little featurette from back in the day. Destruction of Las Vegas showing little effects stuff, and then the trailer to the film. But Con Air is one of those movies that I think has a lot going for it. It has an awesome score, fantastic score by Trevor Rabin and Mark Mancina, whether it be the soft, melodic, or sort of the hard rock, love the score to death. You also have songs like How Do I Live Without You and Sweet Home Alabama. And I'd probably say this is my favorite Nicolas Cage film. It's definitely the most fun. I think most people pick The Rock, and I enjoyed The Rock, but I really enjoyed Con Air. I think John Malkovich is a very fun bad guy. I think he has some really witty lines of dialogue in the foot that's sincerely funny. This is a film that does have a wink to the audience, but I felt that Simon West did this a lot better than he did with Expendables 2. Like, to me, Expendables 2 was doing that the wrong way. This was doing it the right way. It has a sense of humor to it. You could clearly tell. And I love the Jerry Bruckheimer look to the film. And I think it has a great cast. Nicolas Cage, John Cusack, John Malkovich, but you also have Steve Buscemi, you got Ving Rhames, you got Mykelti Williamson, you got Rachel Ticotin from Total Recall. You have quite a few people. Dave Chappelle is in this. And I love this film has really well done fun action sequences, but it has a sense of humor to it. And here's the thing, it's a film that if it some people call it a parody, I don't, but it's a film that knows what it is and it has a sense of fun to know what it is. And it's that thin line between fun action film and then just a straight out parody. Because if you're just winking to the audience, like, hey, do you get it? Do you get it? We're just having fun, it gets annoying. That's I'll call cheesy. Like Expendables 2, I'll call cheesy. The reason I'm picking on it is because it's the same director, Simon West. That to me is cheesy. This to me is just fun and badass. And you can tell they know what kind of movie they made from the end credits. Because the end credits, you have the cast, where you have the name of the cast and the person talking, or not talking, but footage of the person with the name of the person underneath. As a montage, as each one is the person smiling. This is an R-rated action film, and it ends with a montage, Sweet Home Alabama, where a moment where they were caught smiling or joking, and it ends with Nicolas Cage there's a scene where he smiles at Ving Rhames and does a little wink and walks away. So it's like, right there it tells you what kind of movie this is. They knew what it was going. I mean, they literally have Nicolas Cage smiling and winking and leaving, going, hey, take it easy. This is just for fun. And it is fun. And I think this film knows what it is more than people give it credit for, is all I'm saying. But I like the setup of the story. Nicolas Cage is an Army Ranger. Monica Potter, Monica Potter is pregnant with his daughter, and he's come home to her, but then these guys keep fucking with them, beat up on him in the rain, and he's only protecting himself and protecting his pregnant wife. And he gets in a fight. This guy has a knife, and he pretty much does the last Boy Scout Bruce Willis thing where he hits the guy and the nose gets pushed into the skull, into the brain, kills the guy. Kill him in self-defense, and then the shitty lawyer that he has says, "Oh, say you're guilty, you get 1 year." So he does it, and he gets like 7 to 10 years, and he serves like, what, 8 years, something like that. So his lawyer is a piece of shit lawyer. And the first 10 minutes or so after that, the rest of those 10 minutes is him being in prison, writing back and forth to his woman and his daughter, meeting Mykelti Williamson, and I thought it was well done. It was, set up the character, and now he's down parole, he's going home, and he's going to hitch a ride on the Jailbird, this prison transport, aircraft prison transport. And I like that idea. I like the idea of having all these prisoners on a plane going from point A to point B. You have the worst of the worst, like you have Cyrus the Virus, a crazy genius played by John Malkovich. You have this sort of militant guy played by Ving Rhames. Not the beginning, but later on in the film, they pick up Steve Buscemi, who's this like serial killer guy. Which his character is pretty weird what they do with him. That's what I mean by this film kind of, I think, knows what it's doing more. Again, it's like a couple steps to parody, but some people say it goes to that. To me, it's that fun kind of, we know what we are type of thing. Self-aware, but not to the point of in-your-face annoying type of thing. Dave Chappelle is like this arsonist and sort of a dope fiend guy. And these prisoners are getting on the plane. Colm Meaney, who was in some of the Star Trek TV shows, he's his asshole agent, loving his fast car. No, this is fucking spectacular. Meets up with John Cusack, who's a U.S. Marshal, and he tells Colm Meaney, "You can't. Okay, you're an undercover guy. He can't have a gun." But Colm Meaney is a dumbass, doesn't listen, puts a gun to the undercover guy, gives him a gun secretly, without telling John Cusack. And I love the intro to a lot of these prisoners voiced by John Cusack, him talking about Ving Rhames, him talking about John Malkovich, and so forth. And I love when they do this with the hero, where, who's that guy? Oh, it's Cameron Poe, Nicolas Cage's character. Cameron Poe, he's a nobody. And that sounds stupid, but I love that because it gives the character no one expects, sort of, in a way, an underdog quality. Like, no one expects anything from him. Kind of like in Rambo 4, when Rambo, he's just a boatman. Oh, who cares about him? He's just a boatman. But we all know that this guy could kick all your asses. I like when they do that in movies. So they downplay the hero. No one expects anything, but we secretly know it. You don't fuck with Cage with a mullet. If you have a mullet, you get your ass kicked. Well, actually, more like if you have a mullet, you do the ass kicking, and if you're against a guy with a mullet, you'll get your ass kicked. Van Damme and Hard Target, Jack Burton, Caruso and Pedro Luciana, Rambo, especially, pretty much all the Rambo films. Again, if you have a mullet, you don't want to kick some ass. Cage has a mullet, he kicks ass. And I thought John Cusack did a really good job in this. I know on the trivia, and apparently John Cusack hates this film. He dislikes it so much he doesn't want to be interviewed for it. He refuses it. And then there's if someone does mention it, he's like, "Oh, I did it for business, so I could get my name above the title and my face on a billboard." But hey, you know what? He also hates Better Off Dead, which I think is actually one of his best comedies. So, and One Crazy Summer as well. He hates those movies. So, I'm sorry. I'd rather watch this than say anything. Ooh, great. He has a fucking boombox. He's listening to it. I don't give a shit. Shove the boombox up your ass. I'd rather watch Con Air than The Sure Thing or say anything. Those to me are crap, but I think he likes those. But if you like those films, that's fine. I'm just making fun of John Cusack. I mean, if he doesn't like the film, he doesn't like the film. But I think I think it's one of his best ones, honestly. And I think he did a really good job in it. Dave Chappelle, little bits he has is really funny. He's sitting behind this guy who's a Native American, and apparently Dave Chappelle he did improv in a lot of his lines. So he sits next to him, he's like, "Oh, don't get all wounded knee and shit. Mm-hmm. You want to scalp someone?" I thought Dave Chappelle. It's too bad he's not in more movies. I thought he's pretty damn funny. He was funny in this. John Malkovich, really like him as the bad guy. Has a lot of great lines in it. Very interesting character. Like, for example, even though he's crazy and he's a bad guy, but he also hates rapists. Because he talks to Danny Trejo. That's another one who's Johnny 23. He has like 23 hearts for each woman he raped. And Malkovich talks about how he despised rapists. But with you, I'll take an exception. And like, he talks to a guard. And the guard says some shit. I love John Malkovich's line delivery of, "Funny fucker, aren't you?" He did a lot better than me, but I like that. Yeah. "Funny fucker, ain't you?" I thought it was pretty funny. And John Malkovich has a lot of other great lines of dialogue. Like, for example, when they escape, when they get out of their cuffs and jump it ahead, he gets to the pilot. He says, "Well, the next, if you say something, the next wings you don't see, the flies buzzing around your rotting corpse." Or when he said something about Dave Chappelle's like, "You didn't mean that dirty crackhead Negro thing." And John Malkovich was like, "Give me the gun." He just said, "Hell yes, I did." He keeps walking away from Dave Chappelle. I thought John Malkovich was a lot of fun in this. He was a great bad guy. But before we get to that, they escape. I guess they sort of have like pins in their hands, and Chappelle had this thing down his throat, puked it up, and lights the guy on fire. I love the lines like, "If you live through this, really hope you don't hold a grudge, Cochise." And he lights the stuff, and the guy's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And because Chappelle's theater was an arsonist, he lights the guy on fire. So the guards look at that, and now looking at John Malkovich and Ving Rhames unlocking their cuffs, and Dave Chappelle hits the switch, and they get free. I think this is a very witty script. I really do. Some of the stuff John Malkovich is saying that, and Dave Chappelle, well, he did improv, but still, even Nicolas Cage, where he talks to Danny Trejo, and Trejo's like, "You know who I am?" And Cage just goes, "Ugly all day," and just punches Danny Trejo. But all this chaos, the DEA agent who's undercover, who Colm Meaney give a gun to, he pulls out a gun, but then gets his stupid ass killed. And that's the line where Dave Chappelle's like, "When you had a gun on me, you didn't mean that dirty crackhead stuff. Give me the gun." "Hell yes, I did." The cast do a great job in this. I think they do an awesome job in that. And also, great look, a Jerry Bruckheimer film. I love that, whether it be Beverly Hills Cop, especially Beverly Hills Cop 2, and even, I believe, Enemy of the State, and Crimson Tide. Just that Bruckheimer look. I like that look in films, including this one. I don't know what the fuck happened with Simon West. He did a great job directing this, but then Expendables 2, he fucked up. At least in my opinion. In the meantime, John Cusack, he's looking through the cell, and he finds this drawing of this plane, and these plans. He's like, "Hey, don't touch anything," he leaves. But the guards fuck up, and it blows everything up. Narrowly misses John Cusack. And Nicolas Cage, meanwhile, Nicolas Cage stays on the plane because he's a good guy. He's an Army Ranger. This is his friend Mykelti Williamson. I believe he's diabetic, and he needs like a needle, otherwise insulin, otherwise he'll die, and he wants to help him out, as well as help Rachel Ticotin, the guard, out. So he decides to stay, and again, because he's a good guy, leave no man behind. or woman behind. Oh, another funny scene I just remember is when John Malkovich is talking with the John Cusack and the Colm Meaney, which it was his agent that John Malkovich shot, and John Malkovich is saying like he's seen something like what was it? Doesn't matter that the agent lost his bladder in the airplane. Just John Malkovich is one of the great bad guys, and really is a lot of fun. And just a lot of memorable scenes. I mean, the scene where Cage goes he's told to go under because the landing gear is lodged. This is after this whole thing where they exchange prisoners and they get Steve Buscemi, and they escape, and Dave Chappelle was outside taking a transponder which tracks the plane, puts it on here. They didn't really get back on the plane correctly, so he like, I don't know if he froze to death or he got neck broken. I'm not really sure how that worked, but the scene where Nicolas Cage writes a message on Dave Chappelle's body, and they have to push the body out, and the body falls from the sky, lands, and demolishes his car. I mean, that's the scene everyone remembers where Dave Chappelle's body gets pushed out, falls from the sky. And like John Cusack realized that he needs to get to this place called Lerner Airfield where these bad guys are going to land. And he steals his Colm Meaney, this asshole's car, his fast car. You get the scene where Nick Chinlund, who I remember from X-Files and a few episodes, where he played a character named Donnie Pfaster, who really liked hair, just a really creepy guy. He finds out Nicolas Cage isn't who he says he is, and he has this toy bunny that Cage was going to give to his daughter, and of course you have that classic line, "Put the bunny back in the box." They get in a little fight. Nick Chinlund gets impaled, and again, Cage is like, "Why didn't you put the bunny back in the box?" Again, this has a sense of humor and is a lot of fun. And when the action is there, it's very well done. Tell there's a budget behind it. Explosions, stunt sequences, some pretty damn good stunt sequences. It's very exciting, moves at a fast pace, really keeps going. Just a lot of fun. And I know a lot of people make fun of Nicolas Cage's southern drawl, but I liked his southern drawl. I thought it was fun. A little bit over the top, yeah, but I still thought it was fun. And it made his performance more enjoyable to watch. When they land at Lerner Airfield and Ving Rhames is going to shoot these guards and Nicolas Cage trying to think of a way to save them. It's like, listen, I'd rather do anything better to put a bullet into these fucks. Like, just the way, I really have fun with Cage's performance in this. And he's able to use his head to save the guards and get John Malkovich convinced, well, what if we, you guys will want a plane that this one guy's supposed to give him another plane to get him out of there and give him a lot of money. And Cage is like, well, he's not here yet. Who knows if this guy, can you trust him? He'll fuck you over. And if that's the case, then these guards are the only leverage we have. But you've got rid of them, so let's not kill him. And he's able to convince John Malkovich, and Cage turns to Ving Rhames, and that's where he gives that wink and smile and walks away, and that's what they use at the end credits. And that right there epitomizes that the makers of this film knew what they were making. They knew they were making kind of a tongue-in-cheek movie, but again, that's what I like about this. It's tongue-in-cheek, but it's not Naked Gun or Hot Shots. You know what I mean? It's like, it's that thin line. It's, to me, the best of both worlds. It's just makes for an entertaining flick. And speaking of Steve Buscemi, just this weird thing they do with his character where he finds this little girl who teaches him the song, he wants the whole world in his hands. Then later on, he has the girl's doll, and you're like, oh, what do you do with the girl? Then later on, after that, You realize the girl's safe, and she's going like, bye-bye, bye-bye, to the plane. And then jumping ahead to the end of the film, he's really the only one who has escaped, and he's playing like roulette, or he's playing like dice at Las Vegas. I'm like, so is a serial killer loose, but it's kind of a happy ending? Because there's one line dialogue where he talked about how I wore this girl's head as a hat and drove through a couple states, and then Cage was like, he did not talk to me. He did not give me all the details. It's my daughter's birthday. I appreciate that. And that's what I mean, the weirdness in this film. The weirdness, but it's infectious, fun weirdness. It's like, wait a minute, this is a serial killer. Did he just escape, but it's a happy ending? I mean, that'd be the downbeat ending. It's just, it's sort of this weird thing. Is he cured of his insanity? I don't know. But kind of works in a weird way. It's definitely weird. I think this, from what I understand, this has sort of a cult status nowadays, and I think that's why sort of the weirdness of that kind of stuff people like or appreciate, or they make fun of, either way. Let's see. John Cusack's there at the airfield. The bad guys are there at the airfield waiting for this other plane. And Nicolas Cage goes in this thing, and these other assholes take the jump on him. Because the guy who John Malkovich is waiting for the plane for, he's going to double-cross John Malkovich as well and escape on his own with his own plane and keep the money. And these guys try to kill Nicolas Cage, and John Cusack helps him out. Before John Cusack helps him out, Nicolas Cage is talking to this guy with a gun. He's like, well, you know what? You shoot that, they don't want to hear that. And the guy puts a silencer on him, on his gun, and Cage goes, well, hooray for the sounds of fucking science. Silence. I said that line wrong. Hooray for the sounds of fucking silence. And a cool little fight where he beats up these guys, even does a little roundhouse kick, Van Damme style. I mean, that's saying too much Van Damme style. It's not Van Damme style. Van Damme is Van Damme style. But still fairly decent. Fun little fight. And meets up with John Cusack. And I like their fun little back and forth. Where John Cusack says something, and they goes, that was a joke. And then Cage goes, glad you told me. He said, what are you gonna do? What do you think I'm gonna do? I'm gonna say the fucking day. See, it's lines like that show me that this script is a lot more self-aware than people give it credit for. And I think that's part of the fun, as well as some, again, really well done action scenes. For example, coming up where this asshole who's fucking over John Malkovich and the other prisoners, he's driving a plane of his own, and Cusack's able to fuck up the plane by having this crane that fucks up the top part of the plane. And then John Malkovich comes up, oh, you don't leave without us? And the guy goes, sigh. And Malkovich goes, Anara, and lights it on fire. And then Cage is in a building behind this, don't blow up, and he's running in slow-mo, sort of that classic slow-mo explosion behind you. And this is a really good stunt, because you see the stunt guy come out of it, and it blows up like right behind him. So like he jumps out and trying to get under this vehicle, and it's supposed to like right on his ass. So that's a really dangerous but very well done stunt. Really, really good. And then the other cops are getting to the junkyard, the airfield, and sours the virus. John Malkovich knows that they're coming. So he makes his plan out and he uses like cans and stuff. And then the prisoner's like, well, and Malkovich is going, okay, this is us. This is the plane. This is where we're going to have the ambush. And then the prisoner goes, what's that? And then Malkovich goes, that's a rock. And throws it away. And the prisoner's like, oh. And the junkyard battle's a lot of fun. Just Nick Cage trying to get this syringe for his buddy. John Cusack drives his big bulldozer to help these cops and block bullets so that the cops can get behind it. Bad guys getting shot, good guys getting shot. Cage gets to the plane, ties his cable to the plane, beats up Danny Trejo's trying to rape Rachel Ticotin. Bad guys get to the plane, and they shoot the cable off, and the cable grabs that fast car of Colm Meaney's that John Cusack drove there, and it drags the plane up in the air. And when Cage, Rachel Ticotin, and Michael T. Williamson are trying to escape, they see the plane's in the air and it's dragging this car in the air. And Cage goes like, on any other day, that might seem strange. Again, it's sort of that self-aware thing, but not in an annoying way. And then the car crashes to this thing and lands on the ground right in front of John Cusack and Colm Meaney. And Colm Meaney realizes it's his fucking car. And then pretty much John Malkovich going, well, wait a minute, okay, something's up here. Somehow someone told the cops where we were, and they killed Nick Chinlund, that character, who's at the bellows of the plane. And Michael T. Williamson decides to take the fall for Nick Cage, so he gets shot for that. And then Colm Meaney and John Cusack, they're in helicopters and they're shooting at the plane. Cusack's like, stop shooting at the plane, there's innocent people there. And that's where you get one of the badass moments in the movie. One of the most badass moments. When Michael T. Williamson shot, he's like, man, it just seemed like maybe there's no God, and maybe I'm not meant to be out of here, and maybe I'm meant to die here. And then Cage goes, he gets up, and Michael T. Williamson said, well, where are you going? Then Cage goes, I'm going to show you God does exist. And you have that great music. This guy with a broken bottle knees him, punches him in the face, elbows him. Guy shoots him on the arm, doesn't budge, punches the shit out of him, gets to the pilot, tells him to land. You lost the cage behind him, so Malkovich can't get to him. They land the plane, and again, another great action set piece where the plane lands in the Las Vegas Strip. And just a lot of explosions, wings coming off, explosions left and right. Malkovich gets in front of Nicolas Cage. They have a little face-off. And then even one of the propellers of the plane shoot out and then comes back, and it comes right between them. Just very over the top, very fun over the top. And the plane crashes, and then Ving Rhames, the pilot guy, who I believe the actor's like MC Gainey, might have said the name wrong, and Malkovich, they get on a fire truck to escape. Nicolas Cage, John Cusack ride on motorcycles, and John Cusack shooting at them. John Cusack gets to the top and cuts a hole and puts the fire hose and drowns the pilot guy who's driving the fire truck, while Nicolas Cage, driving a motorcycle, revs it up, gets on the ladder that's hooked to the fire truck, jumps on it as it keeps going, and the fucking motorcycle hits Ving Rhames and blows it up. Again, this great story, playing, gets on top, his little fisticuff with John Malkovich after slamming this little stick into John Malkovich's thigh, his leg, and handcuff him to the ladder and raising it up, and it hits this thing, and John Malkovich fucking topples over, lands on this thing, gets his head crushed, and then the thing's going, and John Cusack jumps off, Cage jumps off as the explosion happens, and you see the stuntman in the same shot. Very dangerous, but looks very cool. And if what I said doesn't make sense, then it honestly then go see the film so it does make sense. It's just really exciting, thrilling. That's what I mean. This film, it has a fantastic score, has a great cast, has a a script that is self-aware but is not annoying. It knows what it is. It has fun with it, but it's not pretentious with it. It's serious, but it has a great sense of humor to it. Again, I think it's a more witty script than people give it credit for. Purposely on funny. I think it's funny on purpose. That's what I meant to say. I think it's funny on purpose. When the action scenes are there, they're exciting and fun. Whether it be in the junkyard scene, whether it be this great car chase scene with a fire truck and motorcycles and explosions and fisticuffs, and then I do. They save the day. Cage walks up to his wife and daughter who are there, and it's funny, in the scene before he grabs the toy bunny and it's absolutely wet, then the next scene when he gives the toy bunny to her it's absolutely dry, which are like really mad continuity in this kind of movie, but it's something I did notice. The toy bunny's wet, and then when he gives it to the daughter, the next scene the toy bunny is absolutely dry, so who knows, baby? With this kind of film, Cage could have just went to a store and just hair dried it, and then with the way this kind of film is, I believe it. And that's where the song "How Do I Live Without You," which I think is fine for a country song. I'm not really the biggest fan of country songs, but it works perfectly with the film. I think the song is fine. I don't mind the song at all, and it fits perfectly with the film. He's joined with his daughter he's never seen and never met before, who hugs her daddy, and then husband, wife, daughter are together. That's where he is Steve Buscemi, he's really the one who's escaped, and he's playing, craps, playing dice, and that's where you get that smile montage. Like, a lot of these are bad guys who kill people, and, bad guys shooting cops, and back and forth, but it's a smile montage of the cast. Sweet Home Alabama. So this film is just fun. It's insanely fun, insanely entertaining. The score, the cast, John Malkovich is a fun bad guy. Nicolas Cage, I think, works well as the good guy. Dave Chappelle, Steve Buscemi, John Cusack, Ving, Rhames. They have a great cast behind them. Yeah, very well done stunt sequences, action sequences, little bits of CGI here and there. People will say it's dated, but it's 1997. I can give them credit for that. There's still a lot of great practical stuff as well mixed in, and went at a good pace. I know there's a director's cut, but I don't care to see it because a friend of mine told me that the scenes are absolutely worthless and they just slow the movie down. So I'm fine with this. This is the theatrical cut. And yeah, the film looked great on Blu-ray. So really glad. Thank you, DMC, for sending me this. Just a very fun, very entertaining movie. Put the bunny back in the box. And also memorable lines of dialogue and just memorable moments. Just a very fun movie. To me, one of the classic action films in the 90s. Classic 90s action film. Maybe that's what I'll call it. A Con Air classic 90s action movie. Action film, whatever. It is. A lot of fun. A lot of energy to it as well. I mean, this says it best. 60-second preview. A pure adrenaline rush. That's a good way to describe it. And Siskel and Ebert, high energy action. Which, really enough, I think Roger Ebert gave this 3 out of 4 stars. Which is surprising, but pretty damn cool. Yeah, high energy action. I definitely agree with that. So, thanks for watching. Take care. And remember to put the bunny back in the box.